welcome back to the GorillaBiker. And today we're going to be talking about financing bikes, which I've kind of touched on before, but never as much as I'm going to today, because I've been asked questions a lot in the last week or two, weirdly. And I think I know why. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about, you know, maintenance and whatnot. Because, you know, I am a proponent of keeping older things and keeping them running longer and whatnot, and that is based on experience. So, and I realize that I have been lucky to be brought up in a way that taught me how to maintain things and look after them as well. So just to preface with that. So where are we today? We're pretty much just riding. There's a couple of roads that I have ridden past a few times that I've never yet turned down, and I really want to see what's down there. Because I don't really like riding past roads and not knowing where they lead. That's just a weird thing of mine. One of them is actually here, but I'm pretty certain this one leads down to like houses, so I'm not going to go that way. That way there, across the tracks. I don't know, yeah, I think that's just a house. Which, I mean, it's a cool road, but I don't want to just ride into someone's house, because that would be weird. For lease. Actually, I should have ridden down there as well, but maybe we'll come back and ride down there. But yeah, okay, so where is this coming from? It's coming from, a lot of people have messaged me recently, and I'm guessing it's associated with the whole cost of living thing, and especially around that actual German trip, saying, you know, oh, do you save a lot of money by going to Germany? And, you know, inevitably I end up saying, well, not really. And you know, it's something that I've said there's no there's no get rich quick scheme, you know, by going to somewhere like Germany or whatever else and riding back to Ireland. And in America, there's certainly a variation across the country, as I have spotted with bike prices. But again, nothing that's gonna save you like a shed load of money, or nothing that's going to make you rich. This is the road here. I've ridden past this so many times. I don't know what's down here, so we're gonna find out. Little nice. Roll in a little bit faster than everyone, and we're going. I love this bike. So yeah, unfortunately there is no I can't say that. I should stop trying to use that phrase. Get rich quick scheme in relation to bikes. I mean, especially if you're a private person over here, you have to register the bike, which obviously you lose money on if you were going to try resell it or whatever else. So I wouldn't obviously advise that. Oh, this is kind of pretty. I wonder where it goes. And honestly, I think this is going to be hard for some people to hear, and I know this is going to definitely upset some people, because I've made a reference to it in the past and people have gotten upset with me. But this whole concept of I deserve the thing I want, it's not a good way to be, because I understand how, you know, and then trust me, I've been there. I say this with all of the honesty in the world that I can muster. If you're in a situation where you're like, oh well, who cares, you know, who knows, will I be alive in X amount of time? I get it. But trust me, it's not a good way to play that hand, because the likelihood is, in humans, I mean, if you look at death rates and statistics and whatnot, you probably will be alive in X amount of time. To fix that clutch. It's a bit bitey. I think it's just a bit worn. We'll fix that eventually. But it's not a healthy viewpoint to just kind of say F it and, you know, kind of do what you want, because at the end of the day, 5 years from now, the you who made that decision is going to be gone, but the you who has to live with that decision is going to still be around and be paying for it and be sad. I keep hitting the trip thing. Where's my range? So basically, I will start this off by saying I really advise going into debt for a bike. yeah, some bikes hold their value well, a lot don't. Yeah, some bikes, if you don't ride them, hold their bikes exceptionally well, but I mean, you're buying your bike to ride it. And the thing is, especially now, I mean, in my opinion, charging 10% plus APR, and I'm by no means a financial expert, by the way, this is not financial advice in any way, shape or form. This is me just speaking from my experience. Oh, that's the road, I meant to go down there. I've actually been on this road before. Okay, I need to turn around and we need to go back down that road. But yeah, this is not financial advice in any way, shape or form. It's just me speaking from my experience, which, you know, might not be right. But going into debt for something which you could crash and write off in an instant is, in my opinion, just not a good idea. I paid all cash for this Z900RS, for instance. And the reason I did that was because I really wanted a Z900RS. Now, did I want a brand new Z900RS? Of course I did. But the fact of the matter was, I could not afford one out of my own pocket. I don't know why I went this way, but okay. I couldn't afford one out of my own pocket, so the fact of the matter is I didn't buy one brand new and out of pocket. I bought what I could afford, which was a previously crashed Z900RS, and I've had a blast on it. And I mean, that's an important thing to recognize, that everything that you want, right? I mean, if you're going out and you're going into debt for a status symbol, that's just a bad idea, because I mean, at the end of the day, I guarantee you most people know that you're in debt for it, therefore it's not a status symbol anymore. It's a symbol of the fact you're in debt, which is, like I said, you don't own that thing, you know what I mean? You're paying for it for X amount of years. Now, I will recognize that in the time we live in now, everyone kind of does need a way to get around, and oftentimes the best way to do that is with a car, and getting a loan for a car. I don't personally have loans for cars, but that's because I can look after cars, and we'll get to that in a second. That's a big swing, Mr. Prime Man. That was fun. I don't want to be stuck behind a van. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, if you need to get some form of loan for a car, I understand that, because the unfortunate reality is there's not much way to get around in a lot of the world now, from like a public transport perspective. You know, like for instance, Ireland is an absolute nightmare in most of the country public transport wise. And I'm not saying everywhere, by the way. I understand there's places that have good public transport, like London, and like other chunks of the world. But I'm saying from experience where I have lived, I mean here in this part of North Carolina, not a hope. You're not getting anywhere with public transport, especially, like, you know, I want to be comfortable and pretty safe. Not to say there's anything wrong with public transport. There absolutely is not. I think if you're getting to and from work, public transport's a great idea because it saves you a lot of money. But I'm getting off topic, so we'll ignore that section, right? But yeah, public transport is a good idea if you know, if you're trying to save money. And honestly, if I lived somewhere like a city and I could get to work on public transport, I probably would. We'll just put it that way. That's the easiest way to tie off that particular loose end. Basically, to answer the question broadly that I have been asked, no, I do not think you should get finance for a bike because it's the one you really, really want, especially if you're a beginner. And no, I do not think that you deserve the thing that you really want because you've managed to, you know, complete X or Y or Z or whatever those goals that you had were. And I'm not trying to be harsh, I'm really not. And I'm not saying that your own personal accomplishments aren't, you know, worthy or worthwhile. They absolutely are. If you set personal goals for yourself and you achieve them, thumbs up to you. Everyone should do that. I have always said setting goals and objectives is what keeps me going. You know, I have goals and objectives that I want to accomplish. However, you know, I'm not going to put myself into debt for the next 8 years to do so. Why did that person slam on the brakes there? What was that about? That was weird. There's also a thing over here that a lot of people don't like bikers, so I'm going to give them their space because they're morons. I don't like you. Okay, this road was a disappointment. I thought it might keep going, but it did not. But yeah, broadly speaking, no, you should not go into debt for a bike, especially your first bike. Number 2, do not overpay for a used bike. I have a whole... That road looked alright. I have a whole video on that. Let's turn around again. No, you know what? I think I know what's down there, so I'm going to ignore it. Number 2, yeah, don't overpay for a used bike. I have a video on that, and you kind of start to see exactly what I spoke about at the time. Is I'm seeing a lot of bikes sitting for a long time now on Facebook Marketplace and other places, because people did overpay for them, now want to change bike or upgrade bike, or yeah, maybe just change, and they probably cannot get rid of those bikes because they overpaid for them, and now they're unwilling to take a loss. And that's actually a huge part of the car industry itself right now over here. I don't know about at home. I haven't kept up with it at home because I don't really care about cars that much. I have kept up over here though, just out of interest. Oh, this is nice. And I will say that, you know, there's a lot of dealers with a lot of inventory, and they seem stuck with said inventory. And to me, a lot of that is just because, oh, that looked kind of nice. I kind of want to, why do I keep not seeing the roads I want to go down? Let's turn around. I want to go down that one. Let's do it. This is, I kind of like just riding around like this. Oh, I've been here. I know where I am. No, I don't. That's a lie. I know I've been here though because of that cool truck right in front of us. But yeah, there's a lot of dealers, car dealers, who have like an absolute shed load of inventory, but they bought way too high because the market was insane, and now they don't want to sell because they'll lose too much money, which, look, I get it. I mean, if I was a business person, I would also not want to lose lots of money. Oh, this is nice. Look at these rolling hills and cows. Look at little cows. They're so cute. You're so cute. More cows. That little baby one's so cute. Hello, little baby cow. That's a cool farm. Those are cool cows. Anyway, yeah, so I basically would say, don't kill me, thank you. I would say that, you know, it is definitely a tough time, because I'm not saying I have an answer to the current situation, in that, you know, I do understand that used bikes are overpriced, but honestly, just save. A deal will come up, and I know where this is too. I've definitely been here as well before. Okay, so that road that I wanted to turn down, it just led to more roads that I've been down before. I should have guessed. But I didn't. This bike is so much fun, I love it. Oh, that's a cool car too. Don't like the wheels, but it's a cool car. So yeah, I would honestly, my advice would be save, even if it takes an extra 3 months. And I know this is sensible advice, right? And the thing is, people don't like sensible advice. When I released that video about don't overpay for a used motorcycle, it got a lot of people very mad. I like those Mercuries as well, they're cool. It got a lot of people very mad, and they were like, oh, what, am I just never supposed to buy a bike? No, of course not. It's about being patient and finding the right bike for your budget. And I would strongly advise buying cash, strongly advise over here insuring liability only for the start, so that you don't get absolutely destroyed on cost. Because there's one thing that will kill the joy of a motorcycle more than anything else, and that's owing a shed load of money that you cannot or can barely afford. Because all you're looking at then is you're looking at a cost. You're looking at a depreciating asset that you know is costing you money, you know you're losing money on, and you end up hating it. And trust me, I have been there, and literally I remember I once described a car I'd bought in one of my younger days, and I described it to a friend of mine. I said, all I see, and this was a small loan, this was like €6,000. But every time I looked at that car, I described to my friend, I said, all I see is I'm carrying around a suitcase of €6,000 that's not mine. And I was just so nervous of that car all the time. I didn't enjoy driving it. I was terrified of something breaking on it because it was a more modern diesel, and I hate working on diesels. I don't really like working on cars anyway, especially newer ones. Older cars I don't mind too much. There's still space to get in and do stuff. But the Homestead by Little Creek, this is pretty. Oh, look, more cows. But basically, yeah, I lived in a more cows. Oh, look at them little red buckets. I lived in a state of concern that if something really bad went wrong in it, that I was not. Oh my God, little baby! I'm sorry, little baby, I scared you. Sorry, I get distracted by cows. This is pretty. I like this area. I found the cows. And I've been here before. Now I do know where I am. Okay, cool. But that was something, yeah, that I was just really concerned about it all the time. And I didn't enjoy that car as much as I should have. Now, did anything go wrong with it? No, it's still on the road years later. And it's still been having mileage put up on it. But I was genuinely terrified of it just because it was more money than I'd ever spent on anything. And it just made me really nervous. Whereas on the flip side, when I bought the CBF 1000, I think I actually spent the same or more on the CBF but I wasn't at all worried about the CBF because I knew I could fix it. So, you know, that's the difference. At no point, anytime anything went wrong with the CBF, I was very calm about it. I knew I could fix it. It never ever concerned me. That's a schooler I would pull in there to finish off this video. Whereas like with the cars, always concerned, always very concerned. So, and that brings us on to point number 3. You know, people have said, oh, but I'm worried about buying an older bike and not being able to maintain it. Here's the thing, right? And it's funny because I'm part of a couple of groups over here on Facebook, riding groups that I actually have not taken part in yet, but maybe one day I will. And you know, people are often asking questions like, hey, I want to change my brake levers. Do I have to add grease or whatever else? And what absolutely baffles me is why not go to YouTube and look up brake lever swap motorcycle. There is a wealth of videos on there. I have made some of them. And I'm telling you, you can find the information you need. That's the beauty of buying an older bike, especially a popular older bike. There are going to be videos up on there for everything from more complicated jobs like your valve clearance checks and whatnot, down to the super simple ones like oil changes and whatnot. They're all there. YouTube is, well, and this is like, I mean, obviously I make videos on YouTube, but YouTube is so good, like knowledge base wise. You can learn so much there if you give yourself the time to learn it, if you give yourself the chance to sit down and watch the videos to learn about the things that you need to know. I have never obviously worked on an American V6 or V8 before I moved over here because there are no American V6s or V8s in common ownership in Ireland, and now I can work on them. And this is the other thing, once you do start to work on stuff, the basics are the same. Like a clutch master cylinder for a hydraulic clutch on a Honda Valkyrie is the same as a hydraulic clutch master cylinder on a 2011 Honda CBF. It is the same as a hydraulic clutch master cylinder on some of the older Kawasaki's, and etc, etc, etc. Same as brake calipers, same as all that stuff. They don't really change. They're all based on the same technology. They're all based on the same principle. So if there's one piece of advice I could give everyone who's watching this and everyone who wants to own motorcycles and maybe even multiple motorcycles, it's this: learn to take care of them yourself. It will save you so much money in the long run. And the nice thing about that is, oh, little doggy. The nice thing about that is the little doggy wanted to eat me. Tough shit, little doggy, I'm faster than you. The nice thing about that is you get to buy tools. Tools are cool, and then also you can help your friends, and you can help your friends save money. And you never know, maybe they'll even buy you dinner for it, in which case there you're actually basically making money. You know what I mean? Is this a dead end? So many dead ends! Oh, holy shit, look at this place. Look at all these cars. And like, that's the crazy thing. I guarantee you lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of these cars are perfectly good, perfectly functional cars, but they have been scrapped because no one wants to fix them. That's kind of everything that I personally have to say on the subject. To summarize it real quick, should you go into debt on your first bike? In my opinion, no. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Number two, what should you pay for a used motorcycle? The least amount you can, honestly. Find a bike that you want, and that's important. You should find a bike you want. You should find a bike you're interested in. You should find a bike that you're going to want to ride. But also, I would say, find a bike that's popular, commonly popular, because then there'll be lots of information about it on YouTube. Do some research on it on YouTube in the first hand, as if there's lots of information on said bike, it's probably a good option. And number three, take the time to learn, to maintain your own motorcycle, because not only will it increase your enjoyment of the motorcycle, you'll know the motorcycle. If something breaks on it, you won't get frustrated and angry because you'll know you can fix it. All of these are really important things that I feel, honestly, like, I was not a fan of school, never enjoyed school, and I do think school teaches you all the wrong things. I mean, I would much rather have known how to fix a motorcycle, for instance, than a lot of what I do now know. But basically, as someone who is a serial motorcycle collector, I've never owned a new motorcycle, not once. Will I ever own a new motorcycle? Maybe in the future. I would like to, but I would also like to pay cash for it. It's just the way it goes. Like, for instance, I did get a small loan on the V-Strom when I bought it, but that was on purpose so I could build my credit over here. I could always have paid it off in one go if I needed to. And I mean, that's something, if you're trying to build your credit, you could do that. But just don't pay a stupid amount of interest. Like, if someone goes in and someone says 15% interest, they're robbing you. 15% interest is not reasonable. It's never reasonable. Either it's 20, either it's 25. No vehicle is worth 25% interest. Nothing is worth 25% interest. That is someone who is literally a thief. That's all they are. So please don't do that, if I can leave you with one thought. But yeah, so essentially, to cover it off, you don't deserve to buy an RSV4 at the age of 24 because you can get a finance on it. I would love an RSV4. I could afford the finance on it, but I do not deserve it because I don't have it in cash. That's just unfortunately how life is. I wish I could afford one cash, but I do not deserve it. And again, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to anger people. I know people will get upset by this. What else? Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say on it. If you have any questions, please do reach out. I mean, that's how this video happened. People reached out and asked questions. I'm always available for a chat. I'm always available to answer questions when I can anyway. So yeah, that's it. If you watched, thank you very much for watching. If you have any opinions on this, please do leave them down in the comments. I know some people it does make sense to have finance a bike. I know some people can afford it a lot better than I can. I'm not saying that every case is the same. I'm only talking from my experience. You can absolutely own multiple motorcycles, especially when they're old. And like I said, if you learn to work on one of them, you can probably figure out just about any of them. You know, I did my valve clearances on the V-Strom for the first time in 2 days before I went on a trip. Went absolutely fine because it was very similar to lots of other bikes I had done. And you have to start somewhere. You know, like I said, I was lucky to have tools and the space at home to do it. Not everyone has that, but at the same time, I learned a lot of stuff out on the footpath behind my house in Cork, which there are videos up online of that still. So you can absolutely do that stuff yourself too. And yeah, as always, very special thank you to all of my patrons. I really do appreciate your support. And until next time, thank you again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. What is the purchase that you made, the biggest purchase that you made, or sorry, what is the purchase that you made that you regret the most? Did you pay cash for it? Did you finance it? Just out of interest, what was it? Tesla. What's people's opinions on Tesla as well? I actually wouldn't mind a Tesla for a car, like A to B car, you know? Cars aren't my thing. Stupid dog. Yeah, that dog really wants to kill me, but I am not giving it the chance. Bye, outro crew.